Again, we reground ourselves here in the highest values. Love is the center and foundation of this faith. Love is power that holds us together as a community. As we enter into worship, then, let us open our hearts to the healing power of liberating love. Because love is not only something we receive, but something we practice in community. Let fall away all that might distract us from the wholehearted practice of love. Let us be accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. We continue to listen and learn, to act and grow. May each unfold wholeness, both deep loving and truly loved. I offer this invitation by Sherry Woodbury. Come, now let us worship together.
Good morning. I have to do a little bit of this morning. Assalamu alaikum. May the peace of the morning be with us all. I'm the Reverend Jeremiah Lal Shabazz Calendar, and I serve this historic congregation as its developmental minister. Now, many Unitarian Universalist congregations have a special Heritage Sunday that's offered in the autumn. It's an opportunity for an elder of the congregation to share something of their spiritual life story with the congregation. When I arrived here a lifetime ago, I asked a few elders if they'd be willing to speak at such a Heritage Sunday, and one by one, they told me they didn't like speaking in front of groups. Now, I had almost forgotten about this tradition until Bob Dietz shared with me that he had challenged himself to write a whole sermon reflecting his UU spiritual journey, and in it, he answers in 15 minutes the simple theological question, does God exist? So he's taken on quite the task on our behalf this morning. So we're delighted to offer our own Heritage Sunday this year and to have Bob with us to present his sermon this morning. And in addition to our beloved Bob Dietz, I'm joined on the chancel this morning by our music director, Sonder Choi, our professional musicians, Ryan. Do we have our second? It's just you today, isn't it? Saunder's going to be doing it all today. And Ryan, and our interim director of religious education, Jessica Ten Have Place. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Santa Monica is a contemporary congregation with roots deep in the centuries-old traditions of Unitarian Universalism. We are an open and affirming congregation celebrating LGBTIAQ+ members and friends, working for justice for BIPOC communities and towards full inclusion for those living with disabilities, as well as protecting our precious planet home and all of its inhabitants. We draw upon sacred, secular, and scientific sources in our liberal tradition, and we welcome spiritual beliefs from all of the world's religions, as well as from humanistic, atheistic, and agnostic wisdom as well. So we're glad you're here this morning. If this is your first time joining us, we wish you a special welcome. And we're going to have a visitor meetup after the service at noon. Is Norm here? So if you're here visiting and you want to learn more about the church, connect with Norm after the service and check out our visitor meetup. We have a visitors table out in the courtyard following the service on Sundays, and you can also find a lot of information online and by signing up for our online news letter and news magazine. Now, as we begin, we'd like to acknowledge that we gather upon the sacred lands, near the life-giving waters, and beneath the beautiful sky of indigenous people. This is the traditional home of the Tongva, Gabrielino, Keys, Ventureno, Fernandino, Tatvaviam, and Chumash tribes. We remember the painful histories of these lands and continue our commitments to justice and sovereignty for indigenous people. We light our flaming chalice this morning with these powerful opening words, Opening to the Light by Sarah Ruth Wikoyi Davis. We light this chalice with an open heart. We light this chalice with resolve. We light this chalice with tears still fresh on our cheeks. We light this chalice in hope, a tiny flame we nurture. We light this chalice with reverence for this place, for these people, for this time. We light this chalice with all of our soul's longings, to be who we are, to be who we will become, to be ourselves. We light this chalice in self-love, in giving love, in holy love. This morning we will also light the first candle on the Advent wreath this Yuletide season. Our liturgy this year is from the Reverend Rosemary Morrison. The placing of candles upon a circle of evergreens is an age-old tradition. Lighting additional candles each day or week as the light wanes has been part of human rituals for centuries upon centuries. We are warmed by the glow, and we are reminded that the wheel of the season will turn, and brilliant lengthening days will return. The original Advent wreath in the Christian tradition dates back to the 16th century and includes a candle for each of the 24 days leading up to Christmas. For us, here in this time, the circle of evergreens reminds us that life and love will never end. We light these candles each week with anticipation. We know that a new season will soon be here. Days will become longer, and we know the warmth of the candles will soon be replaced by the warmth of the sun. Our first Advent candle is the candle of hope. Hope is the motivating force that moves us through times of despair. The days are getting shorter, the weather colder, and the nights longer. Hope tells us that longer days are ahead, that new life will emerge, and that we need to hold on just a little longer. With hope, we begin our journey towards the sun and the new life it brings. We light the candle of hope. Now let us rise in body or spirit and sing our opening hymn, number 1000 in the teal hymnal, Morning Has Come.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open your eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Love is the Church. Thank request for the truth for sacrament and service is its prayer. to seal together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la esencia de iglesia, buscar la verdad es el sustento, el servicio a la oración, vivir juntos en paz, buscar el sacramento, la piedad, y ayudar a los hermanos, a ellas como otras.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Tenhay Place. I am the Director of Multi-Generational Religious Education here at UUSM. And right now I'd like to invite everyone who has donations for the Westside Food Bank to come forward. We partner with the Westside Food Bank in providing food to people who are living with food insecurity and going through other hardships. So thank you. What do you have today, Harrison? What's that? She brought some beans. Nice. That's always a great thing to bring. Dried beans, canned beans. We have some cereal here, some granola bars. Great to have donations of food that is shelf stable that can be used over time. Thank you, everyone. And we'll watch the chalice there. I always get a little nervous with the open flame. Thank you. But thank you, everyone, for bringing that. And then if you want to meet me right over here on the steps, we'll have our time for all ages. Thank you so much for sharing generously. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Nice to see so many folks today. And so I wanted to let all of our grown-up friends in here in on something that we do every week in our RE lesson. So every week we open up what's called the Wonder Box, and there's something new in there that gives us a clue to what we're going to be learning about. So does anyone remember, by chance, what was in the Wonder Box last Sunday? Do you remember?
It was a candle.
Right, a candle like this. Can you hold on to that for me? You can pass it around if you want. Let's everybody get a turn. So we've been learning for this month, when we have all of these wonderful winter holidays coming up, that light is something that connects us. So we lit the first Advent candle here today, so leading up to the celebration of Christmas. Does anyone know, thank you, Harrison, does anyone know any other holidays where people light candles? Can you think of one? What do you think?
Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, those are both good ones. Yeah, what do you think?
Day of the Dead.
Yeah, we did light candles for Day of the Dead. That's good. Yeah, light is something that carries through a lot of the seasons, but especially during this winter season when the sun isn't out for as long and we might need a little extra light in our lives. There's also winter solstice that's coming up soon. There's, you know what, next Sunday is going to be Bodhi Day, which is the day when Buddhists celebrate when the Buddha became enlightened, which is kind of like having a little flame in your heart and your mind that helps you be wise. But there are many different celebrations, but we all share that light. And which reminds me that if you're going to be around here next Sunday, you're going to see our kids share their light with our holiday pageant that we're going to be performing. And I'm going to tell you, we have some good singers and good dramatic performers here, so you're not going to want to miss it. And we'll be, I love it. Seems like a great Unitarian thing to be telling a little bit of the Christmas story on Bodhi Day. And I think that we're all going to find a lot of connections there because our story shares about the importance of things that we value, like generosity and transformation and justice. So I'm very excited to see everyone right up here on these steps next Sunday and to see all of you out there supporting the kids. It'll be a part of our normal worship service, but it'll be a really special day, so I hope to see you all there. And for now, we're going to go off to learn some more and practice our song. So we'll see you all later.
Let's sing our song of blessing and sing our kids to their RE classes. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you as you go on your way. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you as you go on your way.
We have some important announcements in the life of our beloved community this morning. First off, we're happy to announce some changes in our religious education staffing and office staff positions. Formerly interim Director of Religious Education, Jessica Place, has accepted our offer to become our Director of Multi-Generational Religious Education beginning today. Additionally, her work week hours will increase from 20 to 30 hours as we are staffing for growth this year. And we are also thrilled and blessed to have just Jessica's leadership and I think really demonstrated experience and wisdom and care that we've all experienced over the past 6 months in this interim period. We're stretching ourselves with this enhancement, and we hope you might consider a special holiday gift to the community to help with the financial stability of this change, sustainability of this change in the long term. We also welcome Christina Pegas, who will support the office. Christina will assist with membership and finances as well as rentals. Christina was born in Trinidad and Tobago. She came to America at the age of 7 and has spent most of her life in Los Angeles. She has 2 daughters, Chanel and Tessa, and 2 dogs, a Yorkie, Fluffy, and a Maltipoo, Butter. After years of studying to be a nurse, Christina decided to become an entrepreneur, and in 2001 she became a licensed real estate agent. So we're so glad to have Christina joining our remarkable office team. Esther Chase will now handle communications specifically. Before she was doing administrative assistance work and also communications. Now she's just going to be doing communications. And this is going to include working on the weekly announcements, church events, reservations, the website events calendar, social media, marketing, and public relations. So we're glad to have Esther's caring and capable leadership continuing in our office team. So you are cordially invited to an opening and reception for our member artists who will be on display following the service in Forbes Hall behind me from 11:30 until 1 p.m. It will include original works by Betty Barclay, Bob Dietz, Dwight Flowers, David Getz, Ellen Levy, Roy Patience, Tom Peters, Carol Ring, Gerald Saldo, Sue Stoyanoff, and Greg Wood. Now, if you know that group, it's a talented bunch, so I hope you will join them. The second part of the Introduction to Religious Naturalism, The Sacred and the Story, will be offered today from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. If you're interested in this important movement, I hope you'll take advantage of this opportunity to learn more about its history, sources, practices, and possibilities. No advanced preparation or reading is required. This Saturday, December 7th, we will have another amazing Soulful Sundown, our church's potluck and music event. Doors open at 5:30, dinner is at 6, and music will begin shortly thereafter. They will be playing songs from the 60s and also an original church song from church member Carl Laskowski. It's a Saturday evening, so no school the next day. Kids are free, $10 for adults, no one turned away for lack of funds, and there will be free drinks, I am told. Next Sunday, December 8th, our animal ministry team will be accepting donations of unopened, wet, or dry cat and dog food for the Los Angeles Animal Services pet food pantries. Please consider dropping off items at their table after the worship service. The Lunches for Bunches folks are collecting clothing for those in need this December and January. Highest priority donations are men's new socks and men's new boxer shorts. Find out more about other clothing donation priorities by talking to the Lunches for Bunches organizers out in the courtyard after the church. We have some of our Lunches for Bunches organizers in the back, and anyone else, just so you know who you can talk to. And they will be working under the shade structure after the service. Our congregation's choir will present the Wine and Cheese Messiah on December 19th at 6:45 p.m. You're invited to attend this special winter concert and let the powerful music of Messiah lift your spirit and fill your heart with the hope and wonder of the season. And lastly, see, I didn't get a sermon today, so I got a dissertation's worth of announcements. Our annual Christmas Eve service, the Peace of Christmas. We need some more peace in our world. Will be held on Tuesday, December 24th at 6 p.m. in our sanctuary, and I hope to see you there. Now let us take a few minutes to rise in body or spirit and greet our neighbors. The music will be our cue to return to our pews, so let's practice mindfulness with our listening.
Good morning, everyone. I'm breaking the seal on the church for Christmas music this season, but in a very UU way. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees, they're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on, but it don't snow here, it stays pretty green. I'm gonna make a lot of money, then I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Oh, I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. He tried hard to help me, you know, he put me at ease. And he loved me so naughty, made me weak in the knees. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But I'm so hard to handle, I'm selfish and I'm sad. Now I've gone and lost the best baby that I've ever had. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Oh, I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby say goodbye. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees. They're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on.
Thank you, Sonder and Joni. Let us transition to our time for experiencing transcendence, embodiment, and immanence of the sacred through spiritual exercise. Let us breathe together, slowly inhaling and then exhaling, remembering our transcendent connection to the universe, spirit, and all that is in the great interdependent web of being. Let us breathe together, slowly inhaling and then exhaling, remembering our embodiment here in this sanctuary, the weight of our bodies on their pews and chairs, the rootedness of our physical bodies in the earth. Let us breathe together, slowly inhaling and then exhaling, remembering the immanence of life, wisdom, and love within our beings and shared through our lives. Our mindfulness prayer this morning is A Prayerful Meditation for Renewal by Rebecca Savage. Please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life, both within and around us, be present to our collective yearnings for renewal in this moment. Life has become super lifey these days. With the demands and pressures of jobs and roles, the tugs of the people, the heart of people and places we miss and long for, the ways when so much is asked of us, we crumble just a little bit more each day under the weight of it all. With soul-crushing, devastating news and updates from around the world and in our own communities, the loved ones in our lives hurting and struggling, the ways we are hurting and struggling, Spirit of life, we pause to acknowledge the many challenges of life and send love and care within and out in the world. We pause to honor and hold space for the struggles we experience in our bodies and in our spirits, and send love and care to those tender places. We pause to receive the abundant mystery and grace, the power of love that is greater than ourselves to heal and nourish us. We call upon all the transcendent gifts of renewal to be bestowed upon us, for an energizing renewal to fill us in all the ways that serve our lagging spirits when our resilience wanes. We give thanks and gratitude for the sweetness of renewal, so that it may linger in us, be amplified and multiplied towards healing and wholeness. In the name of all that is hopeful and holy, may it be so. Let us meditate now in the silence for a few minutes. I will ring our singing bowl to begin and end our time for silent meditation.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bob Dietz. My wife, Ellen Levy, our daughter, Jessie, and I became members of this congregation in 1999. I've been a Unitarian for over 70 years. Since I was 4 years old, the second half includes the Unitarian Universalists. I would like to thank Jeremiah, Kakanza, Joyce Holman, my wife, and Chad AIT for helping me with my sermon. Kakanza asked me, what was I writing? A sermon or the history of my family? I ended up with some of each. This morning, I'd like to share with you some moments in my life where I contemplated the existence of God, starting when I was very young. If you have had similar moments about God, you will be able to share them with the congregation. Friedrich Nietzsche's famous declaration, Gott ist tot, God is dead, has been debated for over 150 years. But what does that really mean for us, for our beliefs, and the ways we want to live our lives? Today, I'd like to share some moments in my life with kindergarten, starting with kindergarten, so you consider our own answers to the questions as we come across them. I was born in Toledo, Ohio in September 1945, the month World War II ended. Big boomers were on their way. Our minister, Jeremiah, was born a child from two of those boomers, decades after 1945, but not too far from Toledo. I was about 4 years old. My parents, Leela and Albert, joined the First Unitarian Church in Toledo, Ohio, where Reverend Arthur W. Olson was minister. While my mother worked on white elephant sales, I was happy to spend the time throwing a rubber ball down a special hallway where it bounced off the walls and go through an open door into the men's bathroom. That was it. And then one of the first day I went to a Sunday school class, we listened to a story about God. The teacher asked us, what does God look like to you? We looked at each other. We didn't say much. It became homework. We had to draw a picture of God by next Sunday. Suddenly it was Saturday evening. The next Saturday, I grabbed some papers and drew a picture. Before I tell you what my picture was, though, I would like you to share with us what you would have drawn when you were young, or what you would draw now. Please stand up if you wish to share what you would have drawn or what you draw today. Please use a single word or a few sentences.
So if you had had to draw a picture of God, what would you have drawn, or what would you draw?
Stand up.
Nothing.
Okay, nothing. Okay.
Got that one out of the way.
Okay.
White Jesus.
White Jesus.
A giant question mark.
Would others like to? What comes to mind? What might you have drawn, or what would you draw?
Stand up if you'd like to say something.
Probably when I was little, some sort of ball of light like the sun.
A sunrise.
A tall, white man, about 62 years old, with a long beard and a wide robe. It's R-O-B-E, not R-O-P.
I would just draw the wind.
Thank you, everyone. Oh, we got one more.
Yeah, I
probably would have just drawn Gandalf as a kid.
I need some help. I need some help. There we go. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing this morning. For my picture, God, I drew a picture of my dad sitting in a chair in our kitchen reading a newspaper and underneath the ceiling light. My inspiration might have come from hearing the phrase, God the Father. When I was in second grade, I sang the Battle Hymn of the Republic in Sunday school each week. I liked it because it was war, and World War II was part of culture back then. My next moment came when I was in third grade. I realized the Battle Hymn of the Republic was about the Civil War. Americans in the North were fighting Americans in the South. Could God be on both sides? Are there different gods for each army? I stopped singing that song. In grade school, a few friends asked me, what is your religion? I made up one, what we now call elevator speeches. I would say, in Unitarian churches, the minister does not tell us what to believe. We're encouraged to explore our ideas about God and life or ourselves, learning from sermons, books, music, and more. When I was in about sixth grade, I asked my dad if he believed in God. He told me to make up my own mind. Dang, not easy. In the middle of my eighth grade class, my family moved from Toledo to LaGrange, Illinois, a western suburb of Chicago. After a year or so, my mother checked into a nearby Unitarian church. She told me about the coming of age program there. I was too shy. I didn't go, but this made a big moment for me. I had a deep philosophical moment. I started walking outside of our house, going up and down a sidewalk over and over again. I repeated asked myself, did God exist? Does God exist? Oh, wow. This led me to the question of the very meaning of existence. Does something exist only if we know about it? I couldn't conclude that the definite belief of existence is interconnected. God exists for those who believe him. For others, he or she may or may not. After I graduated from Lehigh University in 1967, the Vietnam War was getting serious, and I wanted some options. I volunteered for the U.S. Army Candidate School near Washington, D.C., attending all the All Souls Unitarian Church in Washington, D.C. was a pleasant but occasional Sunday I could get away from the Army. One of the ministers at All Souls mentioned a minister in England who in 1980s thought the Earth as a spacecraft. This must be the inspiration for one of our songs, Blue Boat Home. I liked the sermons, and I stuck to my ideas about God and existence. I lived in Germany for 3 years as an officer, building things for the military, working in airplane hangars, parking lots, taking care of coordinating things on military posts, and learning some German. Most German Army officers wanted to go to the Vietnam War back then. I was happy to stay in Germany. I mentioned to an Army friend that I was a Unitarian. He said, "Oh, Those are those atheists who can't get out of the habit of going to church. That's a moment. In a 2-week leave from the Army to go to my brother's wedding, it was a lot of fun. I made a toast. I also went with my parents to a Lutheran church in Iowa. The first gravestones in the graveyard in the front of the church were Dietz's and other Lutheran ministers who had led the church. Many Lutheran ministers had come from Germany during the last half of the 1800s to save the heathens in Iowa. I gotta get down here, I guess. Oop. Thank you. So I took a 2-week leave from the Army to go to my brother's wedding. It was a lot of fun. I made a toast. I won't go into that, but it was kind of fun. I also went with my parents to a Lutheran church. Oh, and I told you that. And the Dietz's, with the Lutheran church, yeah, okay, I did this. We visited a Catholic church nearby where we walked the Stations of the Cross. I asked my dad again what he believed about God. He told me this time. He was agnostic. He didn't know whether God exists or doesn't exist. He was content there's no answer to the question. The moment made me realize some people just don't worry much about the existence of God. I'm going to tell you about 2 more moments that happened in my life, adult time. I was a member of a small group that played chess once a week. One of the members was an engineer. Another was a die-hard atheist. Someone started talking about evolution. Now, what does this keep doing? What? Oh, thank you. The atheist, backed up by a couple of other loud voices, insisted Darwin evolution created all humans. The engineer believed in evolution for everything except it was God who created humans. I stayed out of this discussion. I thought that anything I would say would fire up the Darwin folks even more. I believe the engineer was entitled to his own ideas. A couple weeks later, I played a game of chess with the engineer at a table by ourselves. After the game, I told him I thought the Darwin folks were way over the top and that he had his right to his beliefs. He told me his story. He was an alcoholic. It was ruining his marriage. He wasn't liking his job or even his life. He wanted to change. He went to Alcohol Anonymous meetings and other programs, but he kept going back to the bottle. He was desperate. He met a person who suggested he turn to Jesus. He didn't have confidence in it, but out of just desperation, he tried a meeting about Jesus. After several weeks, he found his way. He prayed, and he ended his alcoholism. He chose to believe in Jesus. If it saved his marriage, it saved his life. This was my moment. Even if you don't believe in Jesus, what would you want to take someone's belief away from them? My second moment was when my father died. It was a significant moment for me. After a few minutes, I envisioned my life as a temple supported by pillars. My father was the strongest pillar, but it fell. I realized the strength he has given to the temple allowed it to remain standing, I could go on with my life. Nietzsche believed God is dead, that our religious and moral structure was decaying, but he also believed that this decay lay the embryo of a new way to create values and meanings of our lives. For me, Unitarian Universalist is the path I'm going to take. I'm continuing to take. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Bob. So we're going to be looking for somebody next year. So if there's got some elders out there who might want to tell their story and their odyssey, to hear about the evolution of what it might be as a Unitarian Universalist, the things that you're struggling with, the things that you're thinking about, and where it leads one over the course of a long and good life. So, beloved community is sustained and enlivened through your generosity. Our practice of abundance is to share half of each week's collection with an organization that is doing good that furthers our liberal religious values in the world. This month, we share our collection plate with UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund. UNICEF works in the world's toughest places to reach the most disadvantaged children and adolescents, and to protect the rights of every child everywhere. Across more than 190 countries and territories, UNICEF does whatever it takes to help children survive, thrive, and fulfill their potential from early childhood through adolescence. The world's largest provider of vaccines, they support child health and nutrition, safe water and sanitation, quality education and skills building, HIV prevention and treatment for mothers and babies, and the protection of children and adolescents from violence and exploitation. Before, during, and after humanitarian emergencies, UNICEF is on the ground, bringing life-saving help and hope to children and families. There are many ways to give, which are hopefully enumerated on the screen behind me. You can use the QR code or the text to give, and the ushers will also be bringing around collection baskets for those who'd like to give a good old-fashioned check or cash to support the life of this congregation and the good work of UNICEF. I invite our ushers to come forward to receive this morning's offering.
How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it's washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head pretending he just doesn't see. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? Oh, how many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn. This is 10:08 in your teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our hearts stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place.
peace, and may your heart be in a holy place. May you hold fast to that which is good, and return to no person evil for evil, but strengthen the faint of heart, support the weak, help the afflicted, honor all beings. May you go forth into this day and be blessed, and may you also be a blessing. Amen.